It's graduation season, and that means seniors are looking for photographers to take pictures of them on their big day. My name's Chris Galot, and I've been taking photos for 5+ years now, and I wanna show you how you can make $2,000 this month during graduation season with senior portraits. So before we get into the system on how to take the best senior grad photos, I wanna show you guys my photo package to give you for reference. One location, 1 hour, one outfit for $100. Do this 20 times, and that's $2,000. That's pretty damn easy. One location, stay on your campus, you're not driving anywhere, you're not taking them anywhere, and you're not going outside of your campus or your high school. 1 hour, I typically shoot a little under or over, a little under for one person and definitely over if I have a group of people. One outfit. This is usually what they're wearing when they arrive. Typically they wouldn't wear their gown or their cap with them. They're just gonna put that on and layer it on. You can make and mix up different outfits, so you can do no cap, no gown, no cords, or you can do cap and gown with cords, gown with cords, no cap, cap and cords, no gown, just the gown. And you can also, doing all that mixes it up and gives you a lot of different options. In the very beginning, I've had people change and yeah, they get like a different outfit, but usually I found in the end that one outfit usually just does the trick. And $100. Pricing is totally up to you. It depends on you, the person, the skill, experience, where you are, how long you're shooting for, are you editing the photos? $100 is typically what I ask for when I was a college student shooting other college students. Keeping it low, keeping the price friendly because they'll typically pay for it. It keeps them happy and it keeps clients coming to you because your prices are pretty low. My package, mine includes editing. So I'm editing these photos, I'm scheduling a time, I'm spending time with them talking and planning for this thing. I'm also using, expensive equipment, and any camera is expensive depending on who you are. So making sure that you have money to pay yourself, to pay your time for editing, to pay your time for being there. Really, the price depends on you. Pricing could be a whole nother video, but $100. So let's get into the step-by-step process on how to go from getting a client to the door and handing that client your photos. Okay, first step, getting clients to you. I think the best way on a university campus is to join Facebook groups. Facebook groups that are buying, selling, or trading, or Facebook groups that are like girls only or guys only. Any Facebook group that has thousands of people that can post business things to it, post in any of them. And post yourself saying, I'm a photographer on campus, I'm doing photo sessions from this date to this date, and include photos of portraits that you've done in the past. That is the best way for people to a quick look at who you are and get them to message you and say what's up. So at this point, it's just talking to the clients, figuring out a date, telling them your package, and trying to negotiate a price and time for these photos. After getting a couple clients to you and scheduling a time with them, the next best thing is to get a route planned out on your campus. What I figured out is the best places to go on your campus are like the iconic places, maybe like your quad. What are the best places to shoot at, and what are the most iconic places to go to? So when they look back on these photos in 10 years, that they'll be like, oh yeah, the fountain looked like that, the library looked like that. Okay, so what I exactly mean when I say planning your route, it's just better to know exactly where you're meeting them, where you're ending, and all the places you're gonna be hitting. So to put this on a map and to put this in perspective for you, I'm gonna show you what my university looked like and the route I took specifically, so you can maybe do the same thing on yours. So I would meet at this bear statue, and then we'd immediately go to this vine wall and get warmed up, just to get them friendly with the camera, friendly with yourself, and just get the vibes going. And then now we are over at the Missouri State University sign in front of the vine wall. Is a really nice place to take headshots. So this route is pretty simple. After this session, we just walk down over to this park area. It doesn't usually look this brown, but it's usually luscious and green if we want to take a few shots there. Usually it's just one or two. Then over here is our quad, the main area. A lot of colleges are here. So most of the photos I would take around this area to get in front of Carrington, which is an iconic building for Missouri State. Next, we would hit a right, and this is pretty much straightforward from here. So if their college was around there, we would take pictures in front of it, obviously, and then we'd go over to the football stadium. A lot of tailgates happened on this strip. If they celebrated or liked the football team, we would take photos here. And there's also another bear statue, which is a preferred bear statue to take photos in front of rather than the other one at the very beginning. Big piece where most students would walk around if they were on campus was the bear head on the ground and this brick pathway. It provided some depth and it just looked really good on camera. Next, we would hit this fountain, very big piece, centerpiece for Missouri State as well, along with the library. And conveniently next to it is this newly renovated building named Glass, where a lot of students, even if they didn't even go to that college, they wanted pictures in front of it. And that's pretty much it. I know this route was really simple. It just goes down to the right and everything's just in a line, but doing that same thing on your university is very important. So when Jordan and I went to go shoot at MSU Denver, we went the day before and walked around and tried to get a plan going, or at least familiarize yourself with the campus. So you know you're not just wasting time just being like, oh, where should we go next? Like, what ideas do you have? They hired you to take the photos, so they expect you to do everything. And it's just better on both parties just to know where you're going, keep it as efficient as possible so you can get the best shots in the shortest amount of time. So shooting, I think I'm gonna pass shooting on to future Chris on how to shoot, light. Meet you back here later. Thanks, past Chris. We are now here at Rocky Mountain National Park to teach you guys how to use a reflector and to use an ND filter for your senior photos. So let's go into how to use a reflector and how to know where the sun is and how to use the sun and how to know where your shadows are. All right. When taking portraits of people, it's very important to know where the sun is, where your shadows are. So right now the sun is high above those mountains and my shadow is over here. With the reflector, what you're gonna do is fill in your shadows and reflect the sun back onto the person. Right now she is in the shade, and as I come closer with the reflector, you can see that I am reflecting light onto her face. So this is how I am. I'm taking the sun and just bending it onto her. Yeah, so it's on her face. You can go away, you can line up over here, line up her legs. I am going to punch in on her face so we can see how this can help in a portrait. So she should look very lit up in the foreground and the background is a little darker, making it a very nice and even photo. The ND filter really helps when it's really bright out. So as you can see in the shot, it is completely blown out and I am putting a ND filter over on top of it. When I first started shooting, I didn't even know these things existed. A reflector and an ND filter, adding those two things to your photos are gonna improve it so much more. They are really cheap to find on Amazon. So yeah, just adding those two definitely would benefit your photos. So in some of my photos, some girls brought some textbooks or like some nursing things where they listen for your heart. I don't know what that's called, but also people brought poppers and champagne. Champagne was a huge one. I definitely had my camera get soaked by some champagne before and my reflector, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I felt about that. My camera was fine, but I definitely had some wear and tear after, you know, so-and-so sessions with champagne, but you know, you get used to it and you get to learn how to really pop champagne bottles. So I don't know if that's like a skill you need to learn. But yeah, have them bring the props. You don't need to bring any props. In my case, they had extra props and they gave it to me because they thought other people in the future could use it, which I thought was really nice. So in my camera bag, I always had extra confetti, little poppers. Never had any champagne bottles. No one actually gave me a champagne bottle. Little stuff like that where they can hold or throw or toss is really nice for the photos as well. And with the cap and gown, you can also use these as props. So when they toss their cap, hold it, or sling the gown around their shoulder, or hold it in their arm. You can do a lot with the cap and gown. It brings a lot of different poses and different types of photos, so you're not shooting the same thing over and over again. How I wrap up things at the end of the photo. When it gets close to an hour or it's been over an hour and I'm at the end of my route, I usually say, I feel good about these photos. How do you feel? If they say yes, great. I'll be like, all right, I think we got enough photos for today. I will send you the photos next week. Show them a couple photos, make them feel good about them, and just go home. You're done for the day. And it's a great feeling. Or go on to your next session. All right, editing. I'm also tossing this off to future Chris, so I'll see you back here. This is how I edit my photos. There's not too much that goes into this, and you definitely don't want to spend too much time on each photo. Right here, I have Lightroom open, and I got all the photos I wanted imported. For this example, I'm using a recent headshot that I've done. It's not grad photos, but it is the same exact system that I was using. Usually, I crop it first. There's a little bit of grass there, but that's okay. The lighting on this was pretty good, so let's just see what I can do here. Always want to look at your histogram, make sure that is just spread out evenly. I always add a little bit of dehazing vibrance up just so those colors pop just a little bit more. What you'll see if you've watched other editing tutorials in the past, that they'll always say the tone curve. Honestly, I barely touch this tone curve. Like if I really wanted to, like I could lift like the mid-tones up just like a little bit, just so we can go see her hair, and put the highlights down just a bit. This is something I do after I mess with these settings first. And as you can tell, like I'm not even doing too much. I'm lifting the shadows. Like I said, don't touch it up too much because I've always seen overly edited photos and usually it's just doesn't look good. When it comes to presets, I don't have too many. I usually use them as I go and make them as I go. So I think I'm on like the train to get to the destination of I have my own presets, but I'm not there yet. So I trust myself to just expose it correctly and color it correctly, just manually every single time. Because we have like the series down here, I will just develop, copy settings, and just apply it to all of them. That usually does the trick for these other ones. And that's one example. So let's go to a more difficult example. Let's go to these dark photos. These are gonna need some help. I shot these really underexposed and I really like some of these shots. So this one, let's work on this one. Again, crop it first. So as you can see in my histogram, everything is just shifted over to the left, so we want to try to even that out as much as possible. A little more vibrance, and then just lifting up the darks just a little bit. That was an easy one. As you can see, like it's pretty highlighted over here on this side and pretty dark over there. So when this happens, I like to add a linear gradient and keep the photo brighter when it comes to portraits. I always tend to lean a little brighter, even though sometimes my photos look dark. Maybe it's just like a lesson I'm learning for myself. When it comes to skin retouching, well, let's just do one for an example. If you watch any retouching video on YouTube, you will know about this brush. Come here to effects, soften skin light. The regular softened skin is just a little too much. It looks a little too fake for me. We're just gonna brush everywhere, go over any piercings that they have. Don't go over the eyebrows because, watch, it just lightens them up too much and you don't want to do that. So yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, another thing I like to do, let's go back to this one. So the new Lightroom update has this awesome feature where you can select your subject. So it finds your subject, which is great. I don't have to go in with a brush anymore. And usually I like to just throw a little more exposure on them, lift their shadows just like a little bit. Depending on the picture, obviously, if they're like super dark, you want to do this. Pops them out from the background more, and it looks a little more professional, I think. So yeah, that's how I edit. Don't spend too much time on your photos. Keep them light and simple, adjust when you need to, and keep it natural. You don't want to color grade too much, unless you want to. Totally up to you. Okay, so you got your photos edited and they're ready to be sent off. Best way to deliver, send them an email saying, thank you for choosing me to do your photos. Once I get your payment of $100 through whatever Cash App you're using, you get your money. They'll usually message you and say, hey, I just sent over my money. Then you hit them back really quick with a Google Drive link with all their photos. And what I like to do is include instructions on how to download it for high quality from their computer and from their phone. And this way, so they don't end up posting on Instagram or Facebook with blurry photos because they just screenshotted it. Don't let them screenshot it. Let them download the file because you worked hard to get that high quality image. This definitely happened to me. I saw my client and they posted it and it's just a screenshot of it. I'm just like, come on. For future reference and for their sake and what they're paying for, make sure they know how to download their photos with high quality. That's it. The only thing I would have to say on top of this is to be confident, especially when you are trying to get clients and when you're meeting your clients for the first time. You're gonna learn how to do small talk. You're gonna learn how to keep them entertained, make them feel special, and you're gonna learn how to keep the conversation going. And on top of that, you're also gonna learn how to direct and light and work with the sun, and how to deliver and how to keep them happy and making sure you get paid. I think this system is so universal because anyone who is wanting to get into photography and thinks they have the experience and the confidence and skills to do so, I think this system is a great system for anyone trying to learn. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.
Hey guys, oh sorry, go ahead.
Thanks.
Hey guys.
And we'll show some more examples in a second. To download it from their computer and how to download it from their phone. I knew that was gonna happen. A poster fell.
Your shadow looks like an asparagus.
What the hell? I feel good.
Thank you, past Chris. We are now at the Rocky National Mountain Park.
No.
What?
Rocky Mountain National
What'd I say?
Rocky National Mountain Park.